Hey guys, this is Sean Waller, also known as Sean Your Realtor. Continue to educate yourself because this business is always evolving. Just continue to learn. With it, talk to you guys later. Welcome to the Strictly Free Game Podcast. I'm Sean Waller, your host, Sean Realtor, whatever you want to call me, just make sure you call me. I am here, right, with the best dressed guest I've had so far. She looks absolutely amazing. Miss Beth Lowe. I'm not even going to give an introduction because I want you to introduce yourself.
Oh, God.
Yeah, run down the whole list.
I'm Beth Lowe with Coach Realtors. I'm the YPN Immediate Past President. I'm the current RPAC Chair. I'm also the Realtor of the Year. It's so embarrassing, but it's
I didn't
true.
even know that.
Yes, I'm the 2021 Realtor of the Year.
Nice, okay. Former 20 under 40.
Yes, got that the first year. So I've been a part of YPN since the beginning of time.
Wow.
I'm old now.
Not at all, not at all. You're only as old as you feel. Realtor of the Year. Wow. Like how did someone become Realtor of the Year?
It's a combination of everything.
Okay.
They look at everything that you do, board-wise, community service-wise, business-wise.
That's amazing.
I'm in good company. You know, Chris was the Realtor of the Year last year.
Okay.
Kyle Kelly, Mark Donnelly. You know, so a lot of YPN people have become the Realtor of the Year.
Nice. I didn't even know that. I had no idea. I just had lunch with her maybe like 2 weeks ago and she never even mentioned that. Did that just come up?
I've known for like a month.
Oh, okay. Thanks for telling me.
It was all over Facebook. And you know, I had to call you and say I'm the Realtor.
I was too busy paying attention to your renovations on Facebook. That's what I was busy.
It's been a busy year.
It's been a busy year. But we're going to get to that. So can I give a little story how I met or how
Of course.
All right. I think I had this conversation with you. Yeah. So I've known about Beth Lowe for maybe 2 years now. Personally, I heard your interview on Handsome Home Buyers podcast, right, with Charles. And I felt like I knew you after that podcast. I'm like, this lady's so intriguing. I'm in love. Like, this is my real estate like goal right here, right? Because this is the backstory, like all the adversity that you came over and you just kept going. But when I officially first met you for the first time, it was early in the morning, right? So when I met Beth, I felt like I knew her already. And I'm like, Beth. And she looked at me like, this guy's 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm not in the mood right now.
I'm not a morning person if anyone hasn't realized that.
But I was determined to get in the room with you again at some point. Then, fast forward a year later, we met at a dinner with Mike Totino. And after that, I'm like...
Well, it was dinner. I was much more alive.
Exactly. Then I was like, after that, I was like, I'm inviting her to lunch. No, not even. That's not even what happened next. Next, we had a deal together.
Yes.
That's what happened.
That is what happened.
So we had a deal together, and that was actually on my bucket list. You were on my bucket list to do a deal with. I didn't know it was going to happen the first year. I knew it was going to happen eventually. But it happened after the first year, after we officially met each other. But on that deal, I'm going to go back to the dinner part. But on that deal, it was something about that deal that was very intriguing because your seller, you had the seller, I had the buyer, said at that deal that you kept in contact with them through postcards and you just kept it going that way. And that's how you built your business. Right? How is, just to let everyone else know, how do you structure your business?
So basically I work mainly by referral and referral kind of thing. So that was a good example. She actually came to me originally through probably like Zillow to buy that house. I ended up selling her that house. And then I keep in touch with everybody. So I send Christmas cards with the famous Dallas and people save them.
Really?
My 11 Patrician listing in Holbrook, when I walked in to relist that, you know, it was my listing and then I had the buyer too, and then I just sold it again. She had Dallas's Christmas card on the counter.
Really?
And that's what she saved. You know, maybe they're not going to save everything that you send, but I think a lot of times, like, no one's going to throw out your kids, man. No one's going to throw out your kids.
You should see the side of my fridge. I'm like, I don't even know who half of these kids are, but I just can't throw the photos out.
I literally, because I send them to all my clients, I literally get like a stack back, and it is kind of nice, and it's a good way to keep in touch. So it's the Christmas cards with Dallas, which I got to probably start working on.
Oh yeah.
It's hard to top each year because he's
I know,
so damn cute. And then I do anniversary cards within the month of like when they bought their anniversary, when they bought their house. Like, oh my God, Sean, I can't believe it's been 5 years. Hope you love your home as much today as the day we closed. If not, call me.
Okay.
And I usually put like a Starbucks gift card, or lately I've been doing lotto tickets.
Nice.
And then on the bottom I write, P.S. let me know if you win. And the amount of people that have been interacting with me over that, like, oh my God, I won $50. Thank you so much. Like, just like a good way to
keep it in
to just
that
get,
touch,
you know, keep in touch, but not make it, you know, stay top of mind, but not be like, hi, I'm sitting in the office waiting for your referrals. Please call me today. Don't ever do that. I also send a monthly like newsletter that I get from Brian Buffini. So it's
I was actually
all done for you. I pay like $250 a month plus the, you know, the stamps, and it's beautiful. Looks like you spent, you know, all month making it. And, you know, I always say don't reinvent the wheel. If there's already something out there that other people are using and it's working, keep going with that. And then, so how I got that listing was actually also interesting, because yes, I do keep in touch with everyone, but then Coach had us do like a winter home selling mailer. So I mailed out like 40 of those mailers, and she called me. She had been thinking about selling, and they were thinking that maybe this would be a good time for them because she was working from home. They were on the older side. Life would just be easier for them in the Carolinas.
Nice.
So that's how that happened.
See, I told you she's like the best. She's the best of the best of the best. When I first
I'm
started,
consistent. That's what it is. Like, you can't just send one newsletter this month and expect something to happen.
How did you develop your
process.
system? How did you develop the system?
It's basically the Buffini system, except I don't call people. So it's
you don't do the calls at all?
I don't.
The calls are always awkward.
I feel like calls are awkward.
It's like,
I don't know. I don't know. Calls are awkward.
Because I took the peak producers as well, and that was one of the tasks is the call, and I'm like, I just sent something in the mail like 2 weeks ago. Call
yeah,
it's
I
weird.
mean, I'm not a caller. I'm a note card writer. Like, I'll write like a note card. I kind of count my anniversary cards. I hand write those every month to people.
Okay.
And then the newsletters, and then I just sent like people who have been in their house since like maybe 5 years or more. I just sent them like a market report, and then that's gonna get followed up with coaches doing a fall home selling mailer that I'm gonna be finishing up today and getting out. So it's to hit people consistently, not just at Christmas or the month that they close their house. It's really getting something going so you're constantly
in their face.
even if they throw it in the garbage, they still saw your name, and they'll go 2 days later at work, someone will be like, oh, I'm thinking about moving. Oh, call Sean, call Beth, you know, like, because you'll be on their mind. You know, so that's
I started
really
the year
point.
off doing that, and I kind of slipped up. I just got too busy, and you know, life kind of took over, and I stopped doing it, so I wasn't as consistent. So it's funny that you say that the consistency is the major player in that.
With anything that you do, if you're going to mail just sold postcards, if you're going to farm the neighborhood, you can't just do it once.
Yeah.
It really takes time for, you know, it to catch on.
How long from the time you started? So when did you start that? Did you start that process when you first
in the
got your
beginning?
Really?
Yeah.
Who introduced you to that?
I don't know where I came up with it originally. It must have been from some real estate sales trainer, because the Buffini thing is something I only started introducing in like 2019.
Okay.
But I've had various coaches over the years. It might have come from Jared James. It might have just come from reading it in a Facebook group. You know, you hear things here and there, and you know, if it sounds like a good idea, like the market share reports. I never really did those before, but I saw my friend Erica down in Florida. She had like a whole pile of reports, and she was like, oh, it's market report day. And she was like, I'm like, oh, I should send out some market reports, you know? I like clicked the button on the coach website. It printed a whole report for me. It was beautiful. Put it in an envelope, easy.
I have to start doing
Took an hour and a half to send like 35 of them.
And you do everything yourself, no assistant?
I do that kind of stuff myself. The office admin, Carol, does do my newsletters for me.
Okay. Wow.
Because she likes to keep busy.
She has to keep busy.
But anything that needs to be handwritten, I'm doing it myself.
That's amazing to hear. Because as busy as you are, it's very interesting to know that you actually handwrite that stuff. Do you give yourself like a certain day of the month, certain day of the week to do it?
Yeah, I mean, I look like I really need to get my anniversary cards done because it's already like almost the end of October. So probably swing by 7-Eleven on my way to the office, grab the lotto tickets. And then it's really just an hour, maybe 90 minutes of just like sitting there and writing them. I have a script that I write.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm not reinventing anything. I'm just...
That was always the hard part for me when I was doing it. I'm like, I got to think of something to say to not to say, give too much of your information away, but do you say the same thing in almost every card? Is it pretty much like the same script?
Yeah, the anniversary card's a script. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe it's been 5 years. Hope you still love your house today as much as the day we closed. If not, call me. Now, if it's like within the first year or I already had a conversation with them, I will tailor it to
that.
And the first year, I'm like, let me know if you have any questions. I don't write too much. Just like two lines.
Keep it simple.
2 lines.
Be
well, Beth. P.S. Let me know if you won anything on this lotto ticket.
Nice.
I think the lotto tickets they've been more fun lately.
Of course, yeah, because you always, it gets you dreaming that maybe I could get a bigger house.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like a built-in, I could sell somebody a mansion if they win.
That's so cool, man. YPN, what got you involved in YPN? And for anyone that's on, YPN, can you give a little information about YPN?
So it's the Young Professionals Network. Anyone can join. It's not an age thing. It's young in the business, young at heart, and of course, young in age.
Okay.
The purpose of YPN is to really create new leaders for the future of the board, and to just kind of get that experience of what it's like to be in like governance and being on a board and having bylaws and meetings. And it's not just networking events and drinks, but that was the fun part.
That's always the fun part.
So it's really just a lot of leadership stuff and learning just how things really work on the back end, because most people have no idea how that goes. How did I get involved? The award, I think, was new the first year in 2012, when I had kind of it was like my second year in the business. So the award got me involved, and we still use the award to this day to like kind of get new faces in. And then I think they asked me to be on a panel.
Okay.
And it was like the first YPN panel that they had.
Okay.
And I did the panel, and I went out to lunch with Mark and Amy Donnelly after, and now I've lived in their house. They're my best friends. So it's like you really make new connections, and like, making connections is huge in this business. And I think it's something that's been harder during the pandemic. Like how we met, we went to dinner, and then like 3 weeks later, you have an offer on my house.
Yeah.
So like your offer was the best offer anyway, but I also felt like more comfortable doing the deal with you. I'm like, he's a good guy, he's a good agent, he's the, like it was a comfort level because I knew you. You weren't just like
I wasn't even going to go to that dinner.
What?
I wasn't going to show up to that dinner. I was not even going to show up. I'm like, we were just coming out of the pandemic. I gained like 20 pounds. I'm like, oh.
Well, your wife was pregnant. She was nervous.
Yeah, exactly. And I met some of the most amazing people in the business. So I'm actually glad I went to that.
Mike's like good at that.
He
Like
is.
I've never had a bad time. Even if I've only known one person at the table, you leave with like all new friends and new connections.
So it's all about just getting in a room. Just getting in a room with everybody. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
I'm gonna go to his event on the 12th.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Of November.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to that as well. I'm trying to think. What else? 20 under 40. What criteria would someone have to have for 20 under 40?
You have to be in the business for 5 years or less, which was my rule that I changed because people that were in the business for like 15 years were like applying. So 5 years in the business or less, and it's not just how many houses you sold. It's again kind of like Realtor of the Year. How well-rounded are you? If you just sit in a room and only sell houses, you're probably not gonna get it because you have to, be involved.
Yeah.
Not just in LIBOR, but community stuff, like giving back. It's like an overall, but it's for people who are new, rising stars in the industry. We had a great group this year, so.
Yeah, so I saw most
Hopefully
of
we
them
can have an event for them.
I'm actually, they have a nomination for something on the committee this year, I think, right? I think I saw an email about that. I could be wrong, but I could have sworn I saw an email about it.
Oh, to be like a director or something?
To be like a director or something.
Yeah, we have that all set, and we're having the election on sometime in November.
Okay. I told myself I wanted to get involved this year somehow. I just haven't had the courage
We have a new baby.
do it.
So
Yeah, it's tough, but I actually want to be in that type of that type of environment because
I will hound you and get you involved with something.
I think I just put my foot in my mouth. But I'm interested in it. I'm definitely interested
I'll
in it.
definitely make sure you're on my radar. Thanks.
All right, cool. Let's get back to Beth, right? I love to talk about Beth. I love this lady to death. You always give me a lot of great insight. Anytime I have a question about something, you're one of the first people that I call, especially when it comes to this business, because I definitely admire everything that you do. And you're a straight shooter, and that's one of the reasons why I always go to you first. New agent coming in the business. Because it depends on where you go. Some people say you should be cold calling, door knocking, all of that stuff. That's never been my thing.
Yeah, it's never been
at all.
my thing.
Like I cringe at it.
Yeah.
New agent coming in, they want to get some traction in the business. They want to work the same type of business you're doing, but they don't feel like they have that past, that database of people to work with. How should they start?
Social media. They should be on social media, sharing listings, even if they're not their listings, obviously. Like make friends with everyone in the office. Sean, I see you're doing an open house this weekend. Would you mind if I helped you? You'd probably be happy. I know I would be happy. Mm-hmm. I'd be like, sure, you can help me and, get some experience, make a connection with somebody. Post that stuff on social media because social media is your sphere now. Like your sphere doesn't have to be like the names, the 50 names that they make you write on the list, when you first start real estate. Your sphere really is social media. And like, that's why I post things like the way I post, like my first house renovation, this house renovation, anything to like engage people, like funny real estate stories. I did that a lot in the beginning, and I got a lot of clients in the beginning from posting on social media.
Really?
Yes, because it was like so new back then too that like there was no like Facebook ads or anything. Yeah.
So everything was organic back then. It was
yeah,
easier.
And I still do everything mostly organic. The only thing I really spend money on is the Brian Buffini newsletters.
Okay.
I don't pay for anything else.
So social media, I was going to actually get to that. You have such an influence on Facebook when it comes to your social media. Beth, can we talk about your renovation?
Sure.
All right, cool. So Beth just purchased a brand new home, right? Brand new home during the pandemic, which is also scary as hell. But she started renovating it. And you were posting all your renovations on Facebook. And I'm looking at the comments and I'm like, Beth has like a following. Like every picture you post, you get the engagement, you get the likes, you get the comments. And even after a while, I'm like, yo, Beth, that's a dope. I love that wallpaper that you put up. I never thought I'd be a guy that's like complimenting on wallpaper. But the wallpaper was dope. I'm like, that's actually dope.
I probably got that guy like 10 jobs because I posted that.
Really?
Yeah. Because people were like, how do you know someone that does wallpaper? I'm like, oh, I got a great guy here.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Was that a strategic thing for you? Like,
It is strategic, yes. Because
Okay.
I saw it really, when I did my first house, and even just posting that I had bought my first house on social media was huge because other people, like buyers, were like, oh, I want to work with her because she understands me. She's going through the process too. And like, same like even now, like when I was selling my house and buying a new house, like people want to feel that you understand them and that you could say like, oh my God, I know exactly how you feel. Like classic example, I had a buyer last week say, well, the sellers, they need to just get out. I'm going to tell them they should put their stuff in a pod and go stay with their family member. And I was like, the fuck you are? I'm like, interestingly, my buyer tried to do that to me and I literally laughed in their face. I'm like, LOL, not a great strategy. And I'm like, besides, you can't even really get a pod these days. So, it's like, you have to like, you have to make people like relate to you. If they just like see you posting like, here's my new listing, or sitting in the office waiting for the phone to ring today. That's not like relatable. Like I think you need to show a good mix like of your life. Like my dog has like his own little following.
Dallas is like, I want to just like kidnap him one day. Maybe we could swap. You could take Zoe for a day. I'll take Dallas for a day.
You probably call me in a minute, and I'd call you in a minute. But yeah, like I mean, just things like that make people see that you're like a real person and you're not just one-dimensional real estate agent.
You have amazing taste.
Thank you.
Especially, I wish everyone could follow you on Facebook. They probably should, so they can see your renovations. Have you ever considered doing something with that?
Yes.
Without giving too much information.
I see myself like flipping houses, like kind of like for fun as like my retirement.
I can see that.
Because it is fun for me. Like right now, like it is too much of a distraction because it is a lot does go like into all of this. But in the future, that's like kind of like what I want to do is like my exit strategy and just kind of have some fun with it.
Nice.
Because it's so my first house, I really like overdid it. Thanks to COVID, I got all of my money back. But I learned a lot from that. So like a lot of this stuff, like I would look at higher end tile and then like I would spend 3 hours on a Google search trying to get something similar. Like the one tile I liked for my shower was, I want to say $50 a square foot, so it would have been like a $5,000 shower. So that wasn't happening. So I found something similar and I ended up getting it for like $18 a square foot. So the amount of work that I just put into like that was, instead of just going, I like that, I'm gonna buy the most expensive thing.
Is that
in
the
here.
master bathroom that we were talking about
Yes.
prior? That was only $18 a square foot?
Yes.
That's not bad at all.
No, it's not from
That's amazing.
Wayfair.
I
I
thought
got
it
a
was
lot from Wayfair.
Really?
Yeah, Wayfair Professional. Like, cause if you have your own corporation, you can get a Wayfair Professional account.
Right.
Yeah, so I save a good amount of money with that.
Okay. All right. I like the flipping idea. I'll tell you why I like the flipping idea. And I know you've seen it through the years that you've been in the business. You can always tell when you walk into a flip that a guy did this flip. Like,
oh my God, me and my clients, like we die laughing. Like, I'm like, they literally just bought everything that was on sale at Home Depot and it doesn't match and it doesn't go together and like, it's just terrible. And like after I posted my first renovation with the gray kitchen cabinets, which everyone thought I was crazy in 2014 for doing gray
that was
kitchen
bold for
cabinets.
2014, yeah.
I watched like 7 flippers knock me off.
Yeah.
So I'm
like gray is the new white. It's the new white.
Now I'm
cabinet.
going to keep the ideas for myself and use them to make money for myself. But it's fun. It's fun for me. It's like a hobby. You know, I never mind. Like people ask me all the time, like, what do you think of this? Like I even have clients who like think I'm an interior designer. They're like, what do you think of this tile with this counter with this cabinet? I'm like, I wouldn't do that backsplash, you know, like, I'm going to be honest, you know, I'll never lie. But, you know, it's fun for me. But, I definitely tried to make smarter decisions on this house, minus the pool.
Minus the pool. The pool is amazing as well.
The pool's beautiful.
The pool is so amazing.
The pool is so beautiful.
So you had to go through the whole process through the town and getting the permits and all that
Yes.
stuff. Can you explain to people why that's important now that we're talking about that?
So it's definitely important, and I think it's important to use a professional, like Captain Permit.
Captain Permit
did a lot of that for me.
Okay.
And then my plumber did like the gas stuff. But, you know, just navigating that stuff is very frustrating, especially like during COVID, not all the places were open and everything. So Babylon Village is pretty easy to work with, but they also knew that I was working with Captain Permit, which gave me like an added little
Nice.
like in where they were like, oh, she has a professional helping her, so this, we'll get this approved right away.
Very nice, very nice. So, because in 2020, during the pandemic, you couldn't even get a pool company to come out.
Yeah,
Like the
I got
waiting list is
lucky.
probably like almost like damn near a year.
Yeah,
And that's how I was shocked that you actually. Well, for me, it seemed like you did it pretty quick. I know for you, it's probably like it took forever.
it seemed like it took forever for me, but in reality, had I just done a gunite pool from day one, I would have had a pool by Memorial Day weekend.
Oh.
So it was me trying to
Well, your
not
pool's
do a
little
gunite
different.
pool, which I don't know if that's anyone's like first intention unless you're like a gazillionaire. I just wanted to have a regular liner pool, but it really worked. It worked. Mother Nature had other plans, so it worked out for the best. That
Wow.
I'm much happier with the pool. I think the pool wouldn't have been wow
Yeah.
if I had just done a regular.
Because, like I said, they have to follow you on Facebook to see the pool because it's not your standard.
No, I designed it myself.
Insane.
Yeah, it's-
And while you're still pumping out like 50 deals a year, it's insanity. It's insanity. Speaking of, what has been your biggest year so far?
This has been my best
This year?
Not unit wise, but you have to remember when I first started selling houses, they were $250,000. So I used to do more units. Now I do more volume.
volume.
So this is my best year volume wise.
Nice. 2021. Or mostly sales, right? Mostly on sales?
Mostly listings and listings that were also buyers. And still a decent amount of first-time home buyers.
Okay.
It was a more challenging year for that.
It's been, yeah. I think I got burnt out for like at least like a month and a half.
Yeah, I didn't work that hard this summer. It's still my best year ever. So.
Amazing. We had lunch. She told me that. I was like, you didn't work the whole summer. You're still telling me this is your best year ever. That says a lot.
I mean, I worked. I just didn't
I know what you mean. But
I just didn't kill myself.
Yeah, exactly. You actually had
I actually enjoyed my life for once, which is important. Like this whole like thing that people have like glamorized, like getting up at 4 a.m., working 18 hours a day, not doing anything fun. Like that's like lame. Like I know in the beginning I was like, I'm a hustler, grinding today. And like now I look at that stuff, I'm like, vomit. Like, because it's really, that's not what life is all about, you know? Like you have to have balance or you're going to burn out and you're going to be miserable and it's going to happen. It's inevitable. You can't keep going at that pace forever. I mean, at this point, I know what I'm doing. I have systems in place. So it's just a matter of me doing it, and I can get it done pretty quick now if I don't get distracted. You know?
Have you ever considered forming your own team or just having like buyer's agents or something?
No, I don't think that's for me. That's like a whole different job, really. It's becoming more of a manager, and for me, I like to just kind of do my own thing. You know.
Yeah. See, that's where I'm kind of stuck because I'm trying to. I have the same kind of mindset. I'm like, now you're becoming a manager. Your phone is really going to be ringing all night because you have to answer everyone's questions.
Right.
You got to put out everyone's fires. But also you want to scale the business in a way that you could kind of work a little less and kind of produce a little more. What would be your advice for someone that's trying to figure that balance out?
I think if you set your business up to work by referral, you will be able to do that.
Referrals. Back
because
to referrals.
I don't have to cold call. I don't have to prospect. My prospecting is sending my newsletters and posting on Facebook, which is, a couple hours. It's not anything crazy. So, once you get into a good flow and you have systems in place, you shouldn't have to be, killing yourself. You shouldn't have to be like every stupid, company that calls you. Do you want to put your name on shopping carts this week? Like, don't do that.
Yeah, I blocked those calls.
Yeah, it's insane. You don't need to advertise at whatever golf course that you never even heard of. I don't care. They have 30,000 people that are playing golf there. Things that I do are when a client asks me to sponsor something for their kids or something that they feel strongly about. I would never turn a client down like that, but a stranger, I'm not.
It's always about the people.
Yes.
It's always about the people. And I've got those phone calls about the shopping carts and the bus stops and the Zillows and I got sucked into that at the beginning as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of people get sucked into it, and I think it's really important also that you keep track of what you're spending, so you can see I have a spreadsheet with all my deals, and I track where they all come from, and it's mostly either FB for Facebook or for a referral, and I can see where. I
have to start doing that.
It's important to do because it's important to see, especially if you're spending money on something. If you're spending money on Zillow, you need to track how many deals you're getting from Zillow. And if you're spending money on, HomeSnap or whatever you're spending money on, just make sure there's a return on your investment. And this is the perfect time of year to sit down and look at all that stuff because it's fourth quarter, year's coming to an end, and you don't want to make the same mistakes next year, wasting, your own money on stuff.
Exactly.
It's not getting you anything.
I think people get sucked into those things as far as especially Zillow because they want instant gratification in a way. You pay Zillow, your phone may ring, and now you feel like it's working, but you're not really tracking that you probably didn't get anything from this at all. So you don't spend any money on social media at all. That's great to know. And you're still pumping out the volume. You're buying, like you said, when it comes to Buffini, do you do coaching through Buffini?
I did.
Okay.
And I tend to do coaching for a year, take a year off, maybe do something else. So I did the coaching for a year. It was good. I really just want the newsletter. So, it's very easy to do some of these things. I think you just have to find what's right for you and what works for you and what feels right for you. You don't want to do something Sean, you want to go door knocking? I don't want to go door knocking. Do you like it when someone knocks on your door?
No.
I don't.
No.
My dog starts going crazy. I think the FBI is coming. I'm scared to death. Same with cold calling. Do you like it when people cold call you?
You know what I do with the solar people when they door knock now? I tell them I'm a renter. And it changed the whole conversation. I'm like, I'm going to tell my landlord about it. Sounds like a great idea.
I one time had some pest control company knock on my door at 9 o'clock at night.
Wow.
I was scared to death.
I can imagine.
Like, it was really scary.
Of course.
And like, I don't know. I mean, cold calling could work for some people. I guess you probably have to make a lot of calls.
Yeah.
And, you know.
It's like,
Don't you want people who want to work with you calling you? Like, I think that's
it's
like,
such an easier conversation.
It's such an easier, like,
yeah.
Classic example, we were talking about my new listing in Bohemia. So those people are friends with my 11 Patrician listing.
Okay.
So they were talking, they said they wanted to sell their house. So the people at 11 Patrician were like, just call Beth. They called me on Columbus Day, last Monday. I went there Tuesday. I left with the paperwork. We did the photo shoot
Nice.
Friday. It went on MLS.
Nice.
Yesterday, it'll probably be sold by Sunday night. What did I have to do?
Yeah.
You know, like, and the 11 Patrician people were not even my buyer. They bought my listing. But anybody who buys my listing, I treat them like they're my buyer, because they don't know that they're not. Well, like, no matter what they signed 5 years ago, they don't know that they're not your buyer.
Okay.
So as far as they were concerned, they got all my mailings, they got all my Christmas cards. Even though I didn't know them from a hole in the wall when they bought the house from me, they became my client, and then I sold their house,
That's
and now
smart.
I just sold their friend's house.
That's so smart. Because 9 out of 10, that agent that sold them that house probably is not even doing the same
No,
thing.
they had
that
no
you did.
agent. I was there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so
They
you
had no
got both
agent.
sides.
Yeah, so I had both sides. So if I have both sides of the deal, they go on my mailing list.
Smart.
You
She's-
never
she's a
know.
beast.
Obviously, you never know. If
You
I
never
didn't
know.
do that, that would have been 2 deals I didn't have this year.
Wow. She's a beast, I'm telling you, she's a beast. Have you ever considered mentorship?
No, I don't know. No one's ever really asked me.
That's why I'm here. That's
I mean, I
that's what
help
I'm
people
here.
all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I help a lot of people. Like, anyone who calls me, like, I'm always happy to help. Yeah. One time I had like 5 members of the O'Neill team using me as their helpline. But I'd rather have you spend 5 minutes and ask me than get in trouble. There's all kinds of crazy fines going on out there right now. Like, coming soon. Don't put it on Facebook unless you put it as a coming soon. It's
I think the whole coming soon thing.
$2,500 fine.
Yeah, that whole coming soon thing to me is such a
my opinion
gray
on
area.
it, it's not good.
Yeah.
Because I did it with my 11 Patrician listing, and
Well, before you break that down, can you just tell them, just in case they don't know what that means? What is
so
coming soon?
soon is now a new thing. Like, you could put it on MLS with like a coming soon date, and I just don't think it's impactful. I think you're really losing that first day on the market impact.
Because you can't even really show it.
Yeah, you can't show it, and I think it gets lost in the shuffle. I think it just, it's confusing. What does this mean to buyers? You know, like, coming soon, what's the date? Like, then it's something else for them to keep track of. Then 4 days later, when it's not coming soon anymore, they're on to the next, and you got lost in the shuffle.
Now you're in the mix. And now it looks like, because I think it even
And then it
counts.
looks like you're longer days on market than you really needed to be.
Exactly. Okay.
So
So,
I'm not doing that again.
no.
No.
I tried it once and I said I wouldn't do it. I'd rather just wait until we actually put it on the market. Put it on the market, like you said, and get that attention that
Get
you really want.
that buzz going that first day.
course.
That day is the first day now is like the most important day. Like, if I don't get a phone call within like the first 2 hours of a house being on the market, I'm
You like
definitely
freaking
a little
out?
like,
You like freaking out a little bit?
I'm a little worried.
Like, did I
little
overprice
worried.
it?
I'm
Is it
like-
overpriced? Is the photos not right?
But that's a good test, and I tell that to my clients. It's all about managing expectations, and that's going to be really important when things maybe go from taking 6 days to sell to 60 days to sell. So it's really important that you're having these upfront conversations when you're taking the listing. So I always say, well, we'll know right away. Like, especially if like they don't want to price it or do something that I think they should do. I always say, well, we'll know right away, but then in 2 weeks, can we agree that we'll do it to this number? And that's what happened with 11 Patrician. They weren't understanding that the market isn't price it high to get the number that you want. It's price it at a strategic number to get the number that you
get them
want.
to go up.
And as soon as I brought it to the right number,
Yeah.
Within one day, it was gone.
I just had the same situation with the listing I took. It was a co-op, but we put it on the market and like first day, no calls, second day, no calls. I'm like, what the hell is going on? But then third, fourth day, that's when I started getting showings, and now we already got like 5 offers on it, way above asking.
Awesome.
Yeah. So actually, you know, that kind of stuff works out. Back to the mentorship, because I'm gonna keep bugging you about this. Now that I know that I'm the first person to ask you this, even if it's one person, like even if you get one person that's brand new, even if they're not brand new, maybe they've been in the business a few years and they're trying to figure out how can I become the next Beth Lowe. Would you be open to that?
Sure.
Okay. We're gonna get on that. So 2022, not even talking about that, but 2022, what is, because I know you're already in quarter one. I know you're already in quarter one.
As we all should be, because what we're doing now could possibly not close until January. So
exactly.
I never take my foot off the gas this time of year, and a lot of people do, especially when school starts again. You got your kids' soccer game, then you're going apple picking, pumpkin picking, Thanksgiving, Christmas, blah, blah. January comes and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, I have nothing in the pipeline.
I got nothing in my pipeline.
Yeah.
Whereas like January comes and I'm usually like, yeah, buddy, I got so much in my pipeline. And that's the key to having a good year. Because if you try and start 2022 on January 2nd, you're already 3 months behind, which is like 6 months behind. So it becomes impossible to catch up.
Yeah.
So anything I'm doing from October to the end of the year, you know, if something should happen to close sooner than January, I think that's awesome. If it doesn't, I'm not counting on it to close to January. Okay. So, you know, this time of year is really, it's always been a busy time of year. Maybe because people do take their foot off the gas. But
a lot of people do, yeah. I think some people get just lost because, like you said, once the kids go back to school, you kind of lose like a week or two because everyone's pretty much adjusting. But then I feel like it goes right back to normal. But you have some people that just completely take their foot off the gas and like, I'll worry about that in December.
Right. They think spring is the only busy time, you know, and I don't think that's true.
Yeah.
I also track everything by months, like I could tell you. I forgot what we were talking about though. Oh.
We were talking about your 2022 plan. Did you put anything into any new systems? What do you have going new into 2022?
I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing because there's no reason not to, except that I kind of added in a few more things that like I didn't know about that coach had that I wasn't taking advantage of because when I started it was so crazy and it was a pandemic. So I positioned myself to be on their relocation list. So that, you know, that's another source. And I'm also working on some luxury stuff. I just got
I can so see you in a luxury mall.
Everybody
like,
does.
Look at her. She's just
I'm
like
going
luxury.
to try and do more luxury.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't say I'm not going to do anything different. I'm doing 2 things different.
Okay.
That I did go to coach so that I could focus more on luxury.
I was going to ask you about that. She's always ahead of me. Always. That's how you know she's
it's like I've done a podcast before.
She's a pro at this. So you left your old company and went to coach in the middle of a pandemic.
Yes.
Which is not I'm pretty sure it wasn't the easiest thing to do.
It wasn't. It was easier because I wasn't there. I hadn't been there. Okay. So I wasn't as connected and I didn't really like what was happening there. So it was kind of easy for me. And then also Whitney, one of the owners of Coach, she had said, if you're going to do it before June 10th, because once June 10th comes and we all go back to work, now you're going to be, there's never a good time, right? So it's like, you got to just strategically do it. And if you want to do it, just do it. The best time to do it is when you decide you want to do it. Because if you stay somewhere that you don't want to be, your production is not going to be what it should be because you're going to go, well, I don't really want to put another deal under contract. Well, you know, when you decide you want to go, that's the time to go. Okay.
Huh, all right. I asked you a question about that off camera. Talk to you about that off camera. All right, so the name of the podcast is Strictly Free Game, right? You gave a lot of free game already. Can you give me 2 pointers before we get off? 2 free game pointers.
2 more than
2 more. I need 2 more. Listen.
I don't know if I have any more.
You got something in the tank.
What have I? All right, so that's my other one. Make sure you're taking advantage of everything that your company is offering you because you're already paying for it. So
Okay.
don't just not do that stuff. If your company is offering training, or if your company offers a website, a CRM, make sure you know what they're doing and take advantage of it. Like the mailer, how we did that one deal. Coach paid for those mailers. All I did was mail it out. I bet half the company didn't bother to mail out those mailers that they printed, put together. They were beautiful. They were absolutely beautiful. They would have been impressive to anyone that got that. So make sure you're taking advantage of, what your company is offering, and make sure you're taking
give some
the opportunity to, I'm making this up.
You can give some renovation advice because you just renovated an entire house.
Let's see, what advice could I give on that I didn't already give with my bargain shopping for stuff? My advice is just going to be, life is too short to not be happy. And so if there's something in your life, whether it's your company, something that's going wrong in your business, your home, I think that you should do something to fix it. Last year I moved because I wasn't happy where I was living. A tree fell in my house. And I can't even tell you the amount of people that have come up to me recently and go, I can't believe you sold that house.
That house is
and my
beautiful.
response was, I wasn't happy living there. So why should I stay living somewhere just because it's beautiful?
Yeah.
You could have another beautiful thing. You could work for another company that treats you better. You could have a new husband or wife that you're happy with. Life is short. Just be happy.
Yeah.
Do what you have to do to be happy.
I think
Too many
2020
people
did show us
unhappy
that.
lately.
Yeah.
And it shows. Just unhappy. You're a happy guy.
I-
You're always happy.
I'm always happy. Life is, like you said, life is short. I've been through a lot to not be happy at this
Right.
point.
Exactly. Me too.
Yeah.
I can appreciate anything.
Appreciate everything that comes your way.
Exactly.
All right, Beth, how could anyone get in touch with you? If you're looking for a mentor, Beth Lowe, how do you get in touch with her?
You can find me on social media, realtor Beth Lowe on Instagram, Beth Lowe on Facebook. You could Google me, get my phone number. I'm pretty sure it's everywhere. Shoot me a text. Always happy to grab lunch or a cup of coffee with someone. If we go to lunch all
You
the
go to lunch
time.
all the time.
I think that week I went to lunch every single day.
Did you?
Yes. But I'm happy. I'm happy to do it because you never know what's gonna come.
I
out of
enjoyed it. I think we didn't go to lunch for like 2 months, and I'm like, I have to go to lunch
It's
with
like,
Beth.
how come we haven't gone to
Yeah.
lunch? I think there's a book like Never Eat Alone. Like there's always you could always be connecting with somebody. So yeah, Google my phone number 516-316-8335. I'm pretty easy to find.
Yeah, and she's the best of the best of the best.
Thank you.
I absolutely adore her. Beth, thank you for coming through to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
You are amazing as always.
Thank you.
That's it. Talk to you later.
It's a wrap.
That was good.